All right, let's hop to it. I don't know, it's 5:30 p.m. on a Monday, question mark, and we are going to prep. Um, we're gonna prep some more Stolen Fate. I don't have a set day of the week that I prep Stolen Fate. I'm probably only gonna run one instance of Stolen Fate. It's gonna be a continuation for my Outlaw Alchemstar players. It seems like a relatively straightforward adventure. I did find an actual play series that I'm listening to, and I have been enjoying that. Um, I don't actually remember what it's called. Hold on. Let's see. It is called um, Level 1 Geek. So, a series by Level 1 Geek, and it's been pretty useful. I guess I'll add that to my notes. Here we go. I hope they actually finish the campaign. Listen to Level 1 Geeks playthrough. I enjoy it. I don't think it's the greatest. It feels very Critical Role, but not in all the ways that I like Critical Role. Like it has a very Critical Role feel to it, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's weird. Anyways, it's been very useful because I'd love to. There's not a lot of support for Pathfinder products. In my opinion, there's just not a big enough community, and then the community seems to care a lot more about like min-maxing builds than like running adventures. So like I feel like there's just a lot more support when I go to run an official D&D adventure than when I go to run a Pathfinder adventure, and that just I think is volume and size of the community and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so it's good that there's somebody out there that ran it that I can watch their series and kind of understand what's going on. I don't know if they're even done with it yet. I haven't peeked ahead. Um, they only started it I think back in August or September of last year, and they only play for about 2 hours at a time. So chances are this series is still going on if they're still doing it. So anyways, that's what I'm listening to. All right, according to this, we left off on page 13. What's going on page 13? The Harrower archetype. All right, Harrow archetype. Here we go. Whether or not the revelations and divinations of a typical Harrow card reading are trustworthy, none can deny that strange powers wielded by the Harrower are real. The Harrower uses the ancient art of fortune-telling to harness destiny and augment their spellcasting abilities, infusing them with power by drawing cards from their Harrow deck and letting fate decide what elements of their magic need augmentation. For many years, the traditions of the Harrower were limited to regions like Varissia and Ustalav. Ustalav, I know that. That's Barovia. That's Pathfinder Barovia. I know that one. Where the Varisian people had more deeply established traditions, but recently, and the Varisians are like the Vistani, I think, of Pathfinder. I'm sorry to keep making comparisons, but I've been playing D&D for like 30 years, so it's a lot easier for me to do that one. But recently, particularly as Varissia's importance in Avestan has grown, Harrowers have begun to spread across the world of Golarion. Feat Level 2 Harrower Dedication, Uncommon Archetype Dedication. You become trained in occultism. If you're already trained, you get a different skill of your choice. You become trained in fortune-telling lore, and you learn the Harrowing Ritual. It doesn't say that if you're already trained in fortune-telling lore, you get another lore. That's a little disappointing. In addition, once a day, when you perform your daily preparations, you can perform a Harrow reading for yourself if you have access to a Harrow deck. Draw a card from your Harrow deck. That card's suit becomes your active Harrow omen for the next 24 hours and modifies several other Harrower feats as detailed on the following pages. You gain the Avoid Dire Fate reaction. As a reaction, you can avoid Dire Fate. You have an active Harrow omen. Trigger: you fail or critically fail a check associated with that suit's thing. So over here, associated suit checks. Strikes, both melee and ranged, reflex, fortitude, skill checks, will saves, all other checks, including flat checks. Oh, baby. This is a very gambler-heavy design right here. Rolling for your abilities. Treat the failure as a success or a critical failure as a regular failure. You no longer have an active Harrow Omen. Special, you can't select another dedication feat until you've gained 2 other feats, blah blah blah, archetype. Experienced Harrower is the level 4 feat for this archetype. When you perform the Harrowing Ritual, the DC for the primary check is never more than the standard DC by level, and the cost for the ritual is halved. If you use a fine Harrow deck, the cost of the ritual is removed entirely, which if you're starting at level 11, you definitely can afford to buy a couple of fine Harrow decks to throw into your various bags of holding. Another level 4 Harrow feat is Harrow Casting, which is 1 Pac-a-Man. You draw a card from your Harrow deck just before you cast a spell to infuse your magic with its destined potential. If your next action is to cast a spell, the suit of the card you draw enhances the spell in one of the following ways. If the card you draw matches the suit of your active Harrow Omen, the effect is enhanced further, as detailed below. When you Harrow cast, attempt a DC 11 flat check. If you fail this check, you lose your active Harrow Omen at the end of your turn, so you use it up. Alright, so Hammer. The force of the spell is enhanced. The effect only enhances a single target offensive spell that required you to make a successful spell attack or required a saving throw from the target to resist. If you hit the target or if they fail their saving throw, the spell inflicts additional force damage equal to the spell's level. This additional damage doubles if your Harrow Omen is Hammer's. Key. Some of the magic remains behind infusing your defenses until the start of your next turn. You gain +1 status bonus to your AC and all saving throws. If your Harrow Omen is keys, this increases to a +2 status bonus. I can't imagine Caden X isn't going to want to respec to take this, because his whole character is about card magic. So, like, I feel like I should just let him respec now. You know what I'm saying? Shield. As the spell's magic takes place, it heals you as well, restoring hit points equal to 2d6 plus the spell's level. If your Harrow Omen is shields, it restores 4d6 plus twice the spell's level. I'm getting it. Doubles if it's the same thing. Got it. The spell's magic infuses your mind with sudden insight about the target. You can attempt to recall knowledge about the target as a free action, using your spell attack roll to make the check. Oh, that's pretty cool. You get a +2 status bonus to this check if Books is your Harrow Omen. Star, the spell's magic bolsters those it aids. This effect only enhances single target spells cast on willing subjects. The magic restores hit points to the affected target equal to 2d6 plus spell's level. If your Harrow Omen is Stars, the magic also grants the target a +2 status bonus to all saving throws until the start of your next turn. Only affects single target cast. That's rough. So you got a 1 in 6 chance of getting one that might not be appropriate for the type of spell that you're casting. That's rough. Okay. And then there's crowns. The spell's magic is hidden and subtle. Observers may not realize you're doing anything more than manipulating cards in your Harrow deck. Attempt a fortune-telling lore check against everyone's perception check. If your check is successful against an observer's perception DC, that observer doesn't notice you are casting a spell, even though normally spells have sensory manifestations. This hides only the spell's spellcasting actions and manifestations, not its effects. If your Harrow Omen is crowns, you get a +2 bonus. So you get to choose. You don't have to roll for this one. You get to choose one of the following things. If your next action, the suit of cards you draw. Wait. You draw a card. No. So it is random. It is random. Man, that's a lot of randomness. All right. Restore Omen, level 4 feat, exploration, manipulate archetype. You do not have an active Harrow Omen. You spend 10 minutes meditating on your Harrow deck. Then you draw a card. The suit of the card grants you a new Harrow Omen. Oh, it's like a focus point restoration ritual, but for harrowing. That's pretty fucking cool. Benevolent Spirit deck. 2 Pac-Man's feat level 6 uncommon archetype concentrate. You have to have an active Harrow Omen. You manifest a ghostly deck of Harrow cards that seek to protect you or an ally. Select one willing target within 30 feet. The cards move through the air to surround the target, protecting them from harm, giving them a +1 status bonus to AC and resistance 5 to a type of damage associated with your active Harrow Omen. This resistance increases to 10 if you're 10th level and 15 if you're 15th level. This effect lasts as long as you sustain it, up to 1 minute, or until you no longer have an active Harrow Omen. Once the effect ends, you do lose your active Harrow Omen. And cold, fire, poison, electricity, mental, and acid. Crown versus acid. Okay. Feat 6, Harrow Ritualist. Uncommon archetype. You immediately learn 2 of the following rituals. Astral Projection, hot damn. Call Spirit, Commune, Commune with Nature, Legend Lore, or Planar Binding. When you perform any ritual, you can incorporate Harrow cards into the ritual to gain a +2 status bonus to all skill checks made to resolve the effects of the ritual. This is any ritual, not just the 2 that you get from this feat. You can take this feat more than once, and each time you do, you get to learn 2 more rituals from that list. Definitely not worth taking twice, but if you're doing a lot of rituals, getting a +2 status bonus and 2 free rituals, that ain't bad. Vengeful Spirit deck, 2 Pac-Man, Feat 6, Archetype, Meta Magic. You have to have an active Harrow Omen. You manifest a ghostly deck of Harrow cards. Draw a card from the Harrow deck, then select a target within 60 feet. The card flies through the air to strike the target, inflicting 4d6 damage, with a base saving throw against your class DC. Basic saving throw. The type of damage inflicted is determined by your active Harrow Omen as listed under Benevolent Spirit deck. Okay. If the card drawn is the same suit as your active Harrow Omen, they get a -2 status penalty to their saving throw. The damage increases to 66 at 10th, or 66 if you're 10th, 8d6 if you're 15th. You can continue to throw cards at spirits on your turn as long as you sustain the Vengeful Spirit deck. Throwing a card takes 2 actions. This effect lasts as long as you sustain it, up to 1 minute, or until you no longer have active Harrow Omen. Once the effect ends, you lose your active Harrow Omen. I'm just going to message him and be like, why aren't you doing this? Hold on. Where is he? Cadenex. Oh, changed his name. Okay. Just want to respec this week. LOL. Feels like this shit was made for your character concept. Alright, then we've got Reading the Signs. This is the level 8 archetype feat, Concentrate. You have a knack for drawing the right card, be it from a Harrow deck or in a game of cards, even when you're drawing from a deck of many things. Oh, baby. When you're attempting a skill check involving the drawing of cards or resolving the effects of divination magic, including attempting a saving throw against a hostile divination effect against you, you gain a +2 status bonus to the check. When you draw a card to determine your Harrow Omen, perform Harrow casting, cast Harrowing, or if you activate a magical deck of cards, draw 2 cards, choose the one you would prefer as your actual drawn card. You can even use this ability when drawing from a deck of many things, but only once per deck, because you run into a lot of decks of many things, I guess. The unused card is shuffled back into the stack. Hot damn, that's good shit. That's really flavorful and really fun and really cool. I can't believe it. That's really, really good. All of that is great. That's good design. That's really fun. It does suck that there's no way to get more than 1 harrowing at a time. So you're pretty much like, obviously between fights you immediately spend 10 minutes with that 1 feat getting your harrowing back. But like only having the 1, I guess you still have your focus points from your primary class, and this is just supplemental, but it'd be kind of neat if you could lean harder into it. Now the Harrow bloodline I do know about because I read this because I made a character for Pathfinder called Primrose Darkpetal, and she is a Harrow bloodline sorcerer, with a witch underscore or whatever. So I was pretty excited about it. But then I decided I wasn't going to play this campaign. I was going to run this campaign. So, yeah, but I'll read it again. You have a deep connection to the Harrow, perhaps passed on through generations or unlocked after you had a Harrow reading performed on you. This connection gives you uncanny influence over your own fate. Occultism, occult, performance, granted spells, detect magic, ill omen, augury, wanderer's guide, suggestion, shadow siphon, true seeing, retrocognition, unrelenting observation, and weird. Your bloodline spells, initial are Unraveling Blast, and advanced is Invoke the Harrow, and greater is Rewrite Possibility, which these new focus spells are listed below. Blood magic. You become enveloped in possibility, represented as multiple versions of yourself from your possible futures overlaid on top of each other. You gain concealment for 1 round, but can't use the concealment to hide. So they just get a sexier mirror image, I guess, that only lasts. It's not even as good as mirror image, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Unraveling Blast. You combine this with Time Mage archetype, and now you're cooking. I'm just saying. You do a Harrow Sorcerer with Time Mage, and you cooking. That's good stuff. Unraveling Blast is a level 1 focus spell. Uncommon Divination Sorcerer. Semantic, Verbal, 2 Pac-Man, 30 feet, 1 creature. Saving throw is Will. You unleash a small blast of potential. It destroys one of a creature's possible futures, leaving them reeling. You just snipping timelines, baby. Just cutting timelines. You deal 2d4 mental damage to the creature, and it must attempt a will save. That's not a lot of damage considering you just destroyed their entire possible future, but that's okay. Crit success, the creature is unaffected. Success, they take half damage. Failure, they take full damage and are flat-footed, which is to say off guard. And critical failure, the creature takes double damage, becomes stunned 1, and is off guard until the start of your next turn. And as you heighten it, it increases the damage a little bit. Just a little bit. Invoke the Harrow is a focus 3. It is Uncommon Divination Sorcerer, 2 Pac-Man, Semantic, Verbal, 30 foot, 1 creature, will saving throw, 1 round. You draw a card from the Harrow, either one from a deck you have in hand, or magically produce one as part of the spell. You use the power of the card Suit to influence a creature around you. When you draw a card, you choose to impart a boon or bane associated with the card's suit. The target must attempt a will save. On a failure, they receive the effect of the chosen boon or bane. If you target an ally, they can choose to willingly accept the effects without attempting a saving throw. The target can attempt to remove the card's influence by using an action which has the concentration trait to attempt the saving throw again. On a success, the effect ends. Okay, action tax, that's not too bad. To determine the card, draw a card from the Harrow deck. If you don't have a Harrow deck, go buy one. They're $15. Or for like $35 if you buy the physical deck. You can roll a 1d6 to randomly determine the suite that you draw. Hammers, boon, +2 status bonus to damage. Bane, target is enfeebled. How long does this shit last? 1 round? It don't. Wait. Use power since failure. Since the target. So target to remove as an action as a concentration trait. So it only lasts 1 round. So, I mean, how bad is it that they feel like they have to burn actions to get rid of it? Just take your lumps for 1 round, guys. Alright, Bane, the target is enfeebled 1. Keys, +1 status to AC. Bane, target is clumsy 1. Boon, they get temp HP equal to twice the spell's level. The target is drained 1. The target gains +1 status to skill checks. The target is stupefied 1. The target gains +1 status bonus to saving throws. The target is confused. That's pretty good. Confused. But again, you don't have control over which one of these you're going to draw. Boon, the target can roll twice and take the higher result on a single check during the duration. This is a fortune effect. Bane, the target must roll twice and take the lower result on a single check of your choosing during the duration. This is a misfortune effect. The duration is 1 minute. That's why they would do it at if you cast at 6th level, it gets a 1 minute duration. Alright, the target must succeed on a total of 2 saving throws to end the effect. The value of boons and banes doubles. The crown suit affects a total of 3 checks during the okay. It ain't great at level 3, but at level 6, it's pretty fucking good. Rewrite Possibility is their level 5 focus. It is Uncommon, Divination, Mental, Fortune, Prediction, and Sorcerer. Keep in mind, anything with Fortune means that you can't use hero points on them. You can't do any kind of rerolls or any of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of, I think, Fortune stuff in this adventure. So that's significant. Alright, so it's 2 Pac-Man to cast. Semantic, Verbal, Touch, 1 creature, 1 minute. You continually glimpse into the target's future and nudge fate to guide them towards the best possible outcome. Due to the amount of information this spell requires you to process, you can't have more than 1 rewrite possibility spell in effect at a time. Casting it again ends the previous casting. While rewrite possibility is in effect, the target gains a +1 status bonus to initiative rolls. In addition, you gain the following reaction. Rewrite possibility. As a reaction, the trigger is target fails a check. The target rerolls again with a +2 status bonus and uses the higher result. That's okay. That's pretty good. And that's it. We finished the player's guide. Hooray for us. Congrats. Ooh, we did it. All right. Let's move into the adventure proper. Book number 1. All right. Book 01. The Choosing. Okay. Let's see. The Grand Bazaar. Boy, that's very, very, very bright. It's very colorful. 3 moves ahead. The Stirrup and Barding. And that's it, I guess. Good thing we have a shitload of city maps. That's good. Okay. How long is this book? How long? 100 pages! Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. It's a lot of pages. Oh my god. Alright. Stuff. Nothing to it but to do it, I guess. Stolen Fate. Just over a century ago, reality itself changed forever. Within the Inner Sea region, events like the opening of the World Wound, the manifestation of the perpetual hurricane known as the Eye of Abendigo, and the unexpected death of the god Erodin shook nations and tested faith. But the tumultuous events were not only limited to this part of Golarion. The collapse of the Lunghua Empire in Dang it. Okay, hold on. We're gonna look this up. How pronounce Tian Jai? Tian Sha. Tian Sha. Okay, cool. The uprising of an army of aberrations across the open bridge of Vudra, and the failure of myth-speaking traditions in Ibilidos, and the withering of the veins of creation in Arcadia, all upended those locales as completely as eternal hurricanes, abyssal portals, and deific deaths did in the Inner Sea. But these disasters, as horrible as they were, paled against the simple fact that, from that day forward, prophecy could no longer be trusted. This reality-spanning transformation is what gave the Age of Lost Omens its name. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. It was this loss of prophecy that compelled a Norn triumvirate called the Harrowing Three to undertake the creation of a powerful artifact, the Deck, don't mispronounce that, of Destiny. This artifact, they hoped, would correct the cosmic disaster and place Destiny itself back on a predictable path. The Norns could not accept the idea that fate itself had been stolen, but had their plan succeeded, it would have resulted in the loss of free will for all. Well, thank goodness that didn't happen. Close the book. End the adventure. Using this adventure path. Alright. It takes people from 11 to 20. You should have books. You should buy books. You should buy the deck. Alright. Campaign background. The story of Stolen Fates begins approximately 120 years ago, at the dawn of the Age of Lost Omens, when prophecy itself seemed to die. While divination and magic continued to function as it always had, prophecies that claimed to predict the future failed, one after the other. Most dramatically when they prophesied the return of the god Erodin, and it failed to come about after the god himself died. Since then, the very nature of prophecy grew unreliable and unpredictable. The prophecies that did come true seemed to do so almost accidentally. Like normal life. So they weren't prophecies. And far more of them simply never came to pass at all. Okay, so there's no prophecy. We get it. Those who had built their lives around anticipating prophesized events or studying these foretold futures were forced to adjust their worldviews or have their beliefs shattered, yet believed there was still an opportunity to set this right. Alright, it just says yet believed. Maybe yet some, question mark, believed there was still an opportunity to set things right. The Harrowing Three, at the dawn of the Age of Lost Omens, a triumvirate of Norns, you've already told me this, Fabrina, the spinster, Hala, the rod, and Dyscrasia, the sharp, the maiden, the mother, and the matriarch, took grave offense at what they regarded as an unthinkable distortion of reality, the failure of prophecy. Regarding the other disasters occurring across the world as little more than symptoms or side effects of the assault on fate, they debated how to repair the damage, soon coming to the conclusion that while they could not mend the past, they could heal the future. The Norns quickly settled on a plan to combine two different but equally potent sources of divination, their own fey nature and the Harrow, a deck of playing cards used by people throughout the Inner Sea region. The trio envisioned a special Harrow deck they dubbed the Deck of Destiny, and decided to call themselves the Harrowing Three. The project took them just over a century to finish, with each card in the deck requiring a raw quintessence harvested from across the great beyond. Once the Deck of Destiny was completed, the Harrowing Three turned to the task of finalizing their plans. They knew they'd have but one chance to set the future in stone. If their plan worked, there would never be a need to use such magic again, and if it failed, retribution against Pharasma for daring to usurp her mantle would surely mean their end. And so the Harrowing Three took more time debating and preparing. The Deck of Destiny had been constructed to perform a harrowing spread requiring all 54 cards that would set the future of the entire multiverse. To be used in this way, every card in the deck must be laid out in a set of 3 concentric circles, each containing 18 cards. The innermost circle would represent the past, the central the present, and the outer ring the future. If the Harrowing Three were right, they'd constructed the Deck of Destiny correctly, and the harrowing was properly performed, this would seal fate. The future foretold by the deck wouldn't just be a possible future, but the future for all time. And the three hoped prophecy would work once more. Aw, poor babies. Kind of overcompensating it a little bit. That's fine. The Harrowing Three were wrong. Oh no. The Deck of Destiny isn't quite powerful enough to set every future in stone, but more than powerful enough to wreak great havoc if it were fall into the wrong hands. Well, what is a Norn? I want to know. So, PF2E Norn. 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 Here we go. Ancient beyond imagining, Norns are powerful Fey women who hold in their hands the physical manifestation of fate and destiny in the form of golden thread. They watch over all life, intervening with reluctance when called upon, or with a vengeance when the strands of fate are twisted and abused by lesser beings. Norn's relationship with the eldest of the first world is complex. Many among Norns serve Magde, the Three, the triune eldest, who some Norns believe to be the first Norn triumvirate bound together into one entity. As Magda has 3 bodies, a maiden, a mother, and a matriarch, Magda claims to be watching the threads of fate for some ominous prophesized cataclysm. In addition to assisting in her divinations, Magda expects the Norns who serve her to follow her cryptic commands. Let's zoom in here, guys. There we go. Expects the Norns to serve her to follow her cryptic commands to help nudge the future away from the brink. However, Norns are powerful beings in their own right, themselves capable of granting divine power, and many balk at serving the enigmatic demigod. These Norns find the other eldest even more alien and challenging to interact with, for they believe that while the eldest wield great power, even these powerful beings should not be granted leave to meddle with fate as much as they desire. While even the weakest of the eldest could destroy an unaffiliated Norn with ease, they tend to obey the proclamations and judgments of Norns when they are spoken. These Norns, for their part, use their perceived neutrality judiciously. They know better than to issue too many demands to the eldest, lest the capricious demigods grow frustrated and tired of Norn's interference. And so the balance of power remains tenuous between unaffiliated Norns and the eldest, as it has for aeons. However, Norns know that it's merely a matter of time before the eldest loses their respect for this tradition and start acting entirely as they please, despite Norns' best efforts to rein in their most disruptive actions. A Norn, just throwing this out here, which stands 14 feet tall and weighs 800 pounds. All right, so that's what Norns are. That's good. All right, the unmatched, the Harrowing Three were not the only ones who raged against the death of prophecy. In 4648 AR, a great year, An exile from Cheliax named Geron founded a group called the Harbingers of Fate, a secret society who believed that the events at the onset of the Age of Lost Omens were some sort of divine mistake. Lord Geron taught his followers the Book of 1000 Whispers. That sounds fucking cool as hell. A tome that detailed numerous prophecies that were supposed to have occurred since the Age of Lost Omens began. Lord Geron believed this book told the true story of Golarion as it should have happened, and with the aid of his growing cult, he set about trying to bring these prophecies to pass. So it's more like a bucket list now, not really prophecies. Believing that he could make them happen, if he could make them happen, reality would course correct. Lord Geron died before seeing anything come of the Harbingers of Fate, but his daughter, Aerodeth, that's a cool name, took up his mantle and led the group into the new century. Her focus increasingly fell upon the final prophecies of the Book of 1000 Whispers, which were predicted to occur in 4714 AR. When that year passed with nothing from the book coming true, the Harbingers of Fate imploded, its members turning on each other in a fit of bitter frustration that ultimately, like the predictions from the Book of 1000 Whispers, had very little impact on the world at large. Aerodeth would survive these events, but in the years that followed, the Harbingers of Fate began a quick slide into obscurity, their legacy amounting to little more than a curiosity of recent history. But not everyone has forgotten. One bitter and disillusioned man, an exiled Chelaxian aristocrat named Drustin, only grew more frustrated by the failure of the Harbinger's cause. In the following years after the cult imploded, Drustin fled the Isles of Kortos and headed north, hoping to avoid persecution while simultaneously seeking a new way to fix the Age of Lost Omens. He eventually found himself in Varissia, where he met a mysterious woman named Raven Nicoletta. Pretty cool name. Raven explained to Drustin that she had foreseen his arrival and that their meeting was destined, and as proof she revealed to him her own discoveries, for she had learned of the Harrowing Three and that they were seeking to heal the cosmic wound in the world. Unlike the Harbingers, who sought to fix the past, the Harrowing Three looked forward, hoping to fix the future. To Drustin, this reversal was a revelation, like when you realize the door is a pull and not a push. It was like that. Anyways, he pledged his services to Raven when she asked him to accompany her further north to seek out the Norns. In short order, the pair tracked the Harrowing Three down and offered them their services. Yet from the start, Raven and Drustin had their own plot in mind. By this time, the Harrowing Three had completed all the individual cards from the Deck of Destiny. But the Norns needed an equally impressive case. Of course, you need to sleeve your cards. That's of course. Anybody knows that. But the Nords needed an equally impressive case to hold them within while they prepared for the final harrowing. The Norns took Drustin and Raven into their service and sent them to gather various rare components, like holographic sleeves, for their deck's powerful container. While they served, the two bided their time, delighting in the irony of how their plot against those who would seek to know the future continued to go unnoticed. Raven impressed on the Norns her own skill with the Harrow and increasingly became an integral part of their final preparations for the activation of the Deck of Destiny, allowing Drustin more freedom to gather additional allies. Chief among them was a violent warlord and mercenary leader who was so obsessed with the Harrow, he'd adopted the name of one of the deck's most infamous apocryphal cards, the Prince of Wolves, as his own. That's a cool name. The Scattering. As the time for the Harrowing Three's fate-fixing harrowing drew nearer, Raven, the Prince of Wolves, and Drustin secretly formed their own alliance, calling themselves the Unmatched. Believing themselves to be unhindered by fate, magical, Harrow, or otherwise. They had bided their time long enough. They knew that the Deck of Destiny was their... This adventure is so dumb. I mean, I'm excited, but it's a lot, guys. I don't mean to say it's so dumb in a mean way. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of a ridiculous adventure. They knew what they knew what the Deck of Destiny was theoretically capable of, and if they could seize control of the artifact at just the right moment, they could stack the deck in their favor to ensure their own glory and power. As the Stolen Fate adventure path is about to begin, the Unmatched show their hand and try to steal the Deck of Destiny for themselves, mere moments before the Harrowing Three begin the process of setting the future right. The Norns were unprepared for this inevitable betrayal, but certainly not defenseless. They quickly realized the Unmatched were hoping to do, and in a desperate ploy, the Harrowing Three cut the ties between each of the Deck of Destiny's individual cards. In a flash, all 54 cards of the deck scattered across Golarion, each landing somewhere unknown to the Harrowing Three. The Unmatched were not prepared for this tactic, and panicking in the face of the combined wrath of the Norn Triumvirate, wisely fled to regroup, because we've established that these people are like gods, right? Like, each of these women is like a god by themselves. So, they pissed off 3 gods of fate. Yeah, okay. I would have run away too if that didn't, yeah. The Harrowing Three let them go, feeling a loss of confidence as they were forced to grapple with the simple truth that they, in their obsession with knowing the future, were ignorant to the treacheries of the present and the lessons of the past. I'm going to add that in. As for the cards, they were scattered to places or people of great mystical power and potential. Some were drawn to regions or individuals whose themes matched the cards. Others showed up in entirely unexpected places, and in a few cases with individuals who themselves were fated to play key roles in the continuing story, aka the player characters, which is where our story begins. Alright, cool. I'm not liking how there's just like a random like button beep sound in the back of that that track. I'm not cool with that. Alright, let's see. We'll go with this. See how that one goes. Alright, Adventure Path Summary. In Stolen Fate, the Harrowing Three. Hold on. Alright. In Stolen Fate, the Harrowing Three attempt to activate Deck of Destiny when the Unmatched, a group of villains who covet the artifact and wish to use it. Fuck, you've already told me this. Steal the deck, the resulting chaos, the deck becomes scattered, its cards spreading out across Golarion, blah blah blah. Yes, I know, I just read that. In the choosing, when the PCs discover their strange magical hero cards in their possession, a compelling vision draws them to the city of Absalon, and blah blah blah. They go to Absalon. With the fate seeming to push the PCs, gathering more cards won't be long before they trigger the creation of a brand new demi-plane associated with the cards, the Harrow Court. As the PCs continue to collect, this is their secret base, by the way. As the PCs continue to collect the scattered cards, they learn that a villainous opposing group known as the Unmatched has the same goal and ultimately come face to face with one of their members on the legendary Storval Stairs of Aristia. That sounds fun. Alright, so let's see. Can't seem to get any good music to play today. Let's go with this one. Oh, there's a bird. I don't know if that's good or bad. See what happens. Alright, go back to our document. The choosing. Format the choosing. Ugh. It's fun to have an AI do this, but it's fine. Okay, the Destiny War, Book 2, levels 14 to 17. With potentially a third of the Deck of Destiny now in the PC's hands, their hold over fate and the power of the Harrow Court grows, yet their success has not gone unnoticed, and another agent of the Unmatched, a man who calls himself the Prince of Wolves, after one of the most infamous apocryphal cards, leads his demonic minions against them in an invasion of the Harrow Court. After the Prince of Wolves' bold attack, the PCs must seek out and use another legendary artifact, the Deck of Harrowed Tales, to sure, with just more magic cards, to retaliate and secure even more of the Deck of Destiny. Worst of all possible worlds. There's 3 different writers, one for each book. I hate that. Why can't they just have the same writing team for the whole thing? Alright. That's fine. I'm here. We'll make it work. Worst of all possible worlds, levels 18 to 20. With the defeat of the Prince of Wolves, the PCs have likely gathered a majority of the Deck of Destiny. Triumph almost seems certain, that is until disaster strikes when the most powerful of the unmatched, Raven Nicoletta, steals the PC's cards from under their noses. Yeah, they're going to love that. At this point, the Norns of the Harrow 3 reveal they have been manipulating the PCs all along as their unwitting agents in gathering the cards. You doofuses. Not only do we steal all the hard work from this entire campaign right out from underneath your noses, but you had no control over anything you were doing. We made you do that shit. That's gonna be a rough session. That's gonna be a rough session to run. Hey, what's up, Josh? As long as the PCs manipulating PCs all along as their unwitting agents, they offer their aid in tracking Raven down as long as the PCs promise to let them heal the cosmic wound of stolen fate. Oh, they said the name of the adventure in the adventure. Yeah, they stole your fate in Stolen Fate? Wow, it's nuts. Whether the PCs agree to this is up to them to decide. Yeah, okay, but doing so would rob the PCs along with anyone who can make choices of free will. So yeah, it's up to them. It's up to them. They could cabin in the woods this bitch if they wanted to. Key names. There are several important NPCs, locations, and items to keep track of in this adventure. The most important are compiled here for reference. You have no reference besides what I'm about to read to you, but here we go. All-Seeing Hajik, a doomed Harrower whose involvement with the Deck of Destiny begins with her death. Aerodeath, a disillusioned mercenary leader who once tried to alter history. I know you. You're the daughter of the guy that started the cult. Deck of Destiny. A deck of Harrow cards created for the purpose of setting all futures in stone and giving those who use it power over destiny. Deck of Harrowed Tales, a legendary Harrow deck used to create the Harrowed Realm. Disgracia the Sharp, the matron Norn of the Harrowing Three. Drustin, an exiled Chalaxian noble, one of the unmatched. Fabrina the Spinster, the maiden Norn of the Harrowing Three. Hala the Rod, the mother Norn of the Harrowing Three. Harrow Court, the demiplane that rises from the Deck of Destiny as the PCs begin to rebuild the artifact. Harrowed Realm, a demiplane based on the stories associated with the traditions of the Harrow. Harrowing 3, a triumvirate of Norns, creators of the Deck of Destiny. Prince of Wolves, a dangerous abyssal mercenary, one of the unmatched, who named himself after the apocryphal card. Raven Nicoletta, a powerful Harrower, the most dangerous of the unmatched. The unmatched, the three bad guys in this campaign. You thought they'd be hags? You idiots! You doofuses! I thought it was going to be hags too, I'm going to be honest. Zella Esmeralda, a ghost whose fate is bound to the Harrow. If you like that typo, wait for the pair of death beams, one of which fires a beam of fire, the other colds a beam of cold. Beautiful. Nice. Listen, they have a lot. They're a small indie studio trying their best. Okay, that's some cool art though. I don't know what that art has to do with the adventure, but it looks cool. All right, now we're into the choosing again. If you didn't know from our Alkenstar prep or our Kingmaker prep, Pathfinder, they love words. They put many words in their book, and they make you read the words over and over again, the same fucking words. So let's keep reading the same fucking words together, alright? Alright, the choosing has 3 chapters. Chapter 1, Luck of the Draw. Chapter 2, Scattered Stories. And Chapter 3, Queen of the Storval Stairs. Alright, so, here we go. In Chapter 1, drawn to the metropolis of Absalon by the magical cards, the PCs investigate a murder. Harrow card proprietor named Daryl Mirnees before the devils on his heels get to him. Okay. Chapter 2, Scattered Stories. Now the PCs have gathered enough cards, their magic flows together to fashion an entirely new realm, a demiplane called the Harrow Court. Within the Harrow Court, 6 portals open that lead the PCs to the next 6 cards from the Deck of Destiny they are fated to recover. There's 54 fucking cards. You're only going to find 6 in this chapter? Well, let's see. It's 9 times 6 is 54? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. 6 per chapter. All right. Chapter 3, Queen of Storval Stairs. The Harrow Court pinpoints a concentration of Harrow cards at the Storval Stairs, a titanic series of steps that connect lowland Varisia to the Storval Plateau. Control of the stairs changes often. It's currently in the hands of a mercenary band. And I bet the mercenary lady is the daughter of the guy that started the cult, that started all this, as the several more cards from the Deck of Destiny. Coming together, what every couple wants. As described in Stolen Fate Player's Guide, the PCs start their adventure path each having come to possession of a card. The cards grant them visions and compulsions to visit a certain shop in Absalon's Grand Bazaar. The assumption is that the cards they received are the overpowered Brass Dwarf, and then the very shitty Empty Throne, the alright but very specific Paladin, and the absolute trash Rabbit Prince. If you have fewer than 4 PCs, give the leftover cards to Drustin at the end of the adventure. If you have more than 4 PCs, award the additional PC with either the Locksmith or the Mountain Man, removing either card you use from Part 3 of this adventure. If you have more than 6 PCs, you shouldn't. Don't fucking have that many players. I'm not even going to read their advice, because you shouldn't have that many people in your group. If you do, I hate you. I don't know what else to say to you. You can simply grant these additional PCs. Nope. No advice. Keep going. Alright, Chapter 1. Luck of the Dwa. Here we go. I don't know if I'm digging the color scheme here. This weird kind of toothpaste. This is like a sage green. I think it's a sage green, maybe. This is cool. Fighting a little bone devil. I like bone devils. Alright. All-seeing Hajik lived a full life of magical schemes, wild successes, and improbable failures after a stint as a harrower in a traveling carnival that saw her fall under the influence of the deck of Harrowed Tales, a powerful magic Harrow deck that played... Yeah, I got it. Hajik moved on to ply her trade in Absalon, where she gained ownership of a small game store called 3 Moves Ahead. She's had a mystical association with the Harrow ever since her experiences with the deck of Harrowed Tales, so when a strange card appeared in her shop one evening, she knew it was significant. The vision was a Harrow card she knew well, but this didn't belong to any deck she'd ever seen. Certain that it was from a unique deck, Hajik closed her shop and spent time investigating the card in her front room, where she had floor space to sketch out occult diagrams and consult her eclectic collection of maps and charts. As she began to piece together the clues, her magical investigations caused the vision to resonate with other cards in the region. It is this resonance that caused the PCs to experience the strange pull towards Absalon's Grand Bazaar at the start of this campaign. Hajik was startled to learn that other magical cards were in the region. While she only received vague sensations from those held by the PCs, another card appeared fairly close to her. This is a card that appeared in the collection of Dariel Mirnes, an itinerant merchant who sold Harrow cards, both authentic and faked, and a faked Harrow card? What? Okay. And associated items from his mobile shop, the Harrow Barrow. Hajik had avoided getting to know Dyrel, as she didn't want her connection as a harrower easily traced, and truth be told, she considered the showy and gregarious Dyrel to embody the worst elements of fortune-telling hucksters. Like herself, although she could admit it, Hajik wasn't sure whether Dyrel even knew he'd acquired one of the special Harrow cards. With his jumbled collection of Harrow-themed paraphernalia, Hajik doubts it. Hajik decided to wait in the 3 Moves Ahead for the time being, suspecting that these travelers with the cards were coming to her, but not realizing she would soon be entertaining much more unwelcome guest. Wow, that devil got banished, and yeah, the actual play series I'm listening to, the DM is like hardcore, like player love, like cheerleader. Like he gets more excited when the players do good than the players do, which is refreshing. I don't know if I could ever be that excited about my monsters just being just fucking wrecked. But the 3 players he has, they all roll pretty good, and it's just like non-stop critical hits. on this dude's monsters. Rest in peace, babies. Rest in peace. Alright, if you're running Stolen Fates as a continuation of an established campaign, the task of getting the party together and establishing the backstories is already done for you. But if you're running Stolen Fates as a new campaign, just railroad them. As this adventure begins, the PCs discover their person a strange card. Yes, I know. As soon as the PC touches the card, they receive a clear vision in their minds. Blah, blah, blah. Cards. Blah, blah, blah. Go to Absalon. Blah, blah, blah. Go to the shop. I get it. 7 pages of telling me to go to Absalon. Motivating the PCs. They signed up for the game. They are motivated. I'm going to skip this section. Thank you for helping me motivate my players. I think they'll be okay. All right. What's this side thing say? Chapter 1 synopsis. I'm going to regret reading this. At the prompting of their Harrow cards, they're drawn to Absalon. They go to the magic card shop. They find out about die roll. They got to find die roll. They look for them. There's devils. Blah, blah, blah. My fucking God. All right. It feels like a lot of words to cover not a lot of content, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think there's a lot going on here that justifies 100 pages. I'm just frustrated. The hero's advantage. The many methods used by the unmatched to track down the missing cards are effective, but hardly all-encompassing, and the fact that these methods initially miss the cards that have come into the PC's possession is a fatal flaw. One might say a plot hole that gives the PCs a significant head start over their enemies. Whether this is merely an element of chance or an active intervention by fate itself is left to your imagination. Feel free to lean into one choice or the other as you wish if the players become intrigued. How the unmatched were able to track down Hajic and Dyrel, but not able to find the PCs. Well, in my case, magic doesn't work so good down in the mana waste. So, yeah, they just couldn't find them because they were hidden by the chaos of the mana waste. Durr. That was easy enough. They love having like 6 synopses of the same thing with varying degrees of detail. Yeah, I hate it. It's really bad. Like, Josh, it ain't good. You can have one synopsis and keep going. Like, this is ridiculous. Ugh. All right. It can be helpful if these enemies, blah, blah, blah. All right. Quest sends them having the hiring 3, one of their agents, Deck of Destiny, serve as a mysterious patron and nudge the PCs along the plot. All right, so I already have a cool idea. Make a very lovable NPC that they romance / adopt. This NPC is invaluable, and this NPC is a manifestation of the deck. Once the deck is complete, the NPC will be destroyed. Now, if that's actually in the adventure, then I'll give them mad props, but that's how I'm going to do it. All right. It can be helpful. Visions. Take care not to reveal too many plot twists. Hey, don't worry. 3 moves ahead. Whew, we made it. Staying put at the 3 moves ahead proves fatal for Hajic, as described in the campaign background and the side paragraph and the intro paragraph and the sidebar and the glossary and the appendix. The Unmatched know quite a bit about the Deck of Destiny, a magical Harrow deck that was made to control Destiny, and have been working to collect its cards to reassemble the deck and control the future. Jesus Christ! Drusted, a disaffected lieutenant with a mercenary group called the Band of Blades and master of several devils, learned that 2 of the cards had found their way to Absalon. He instructed his second in command, a violent mercenary captain named Varnev the Butcher, that's cool, to reclaim them while Drustin tracks down a different card, the Mountain Man, in northwestern Varisia. Varnev sent a pair of devils to recover the card at 3 moves ahead while he focused on tracking down the Harrow Barrow and its owner. The devils arrived at the shop not long before the PCs, finding Hajic and painfully questioning her. but they underestimated her willpower and overestimated her endurance. Hajik died from the cruel ministrations before they got much of anything out of her. At the start of the adventure, the devils are still searching the shop for the card they've been told was in her possession. Used a map on the inside of this cover for the inside of that shop. Alright, cool. I'm going to do that. The Grand Bazaar is crowded with shop. This one flanked by a flower shop and an open-air meat vendor is caught between smells of floral and savory. A sign above the door reads 3 moves ahead. It's a game store. It's currently unlit, but it's not as bad as it appears. A character who listens for activity in it hears creatures moving around with a DC 25 perception, which is super easy at level 11. These are the 2 devils searching the shop. Anyone announcing their presence, such as by knocking on the door, alerts the devils that they might soon be interrupted. The front door is slightly stuck but not locked. A sturdy shove as an interact action opens it up without a need for an athletics check. Alright, so we just got to add for 5 players. We'll add some extra monsters there. Thinking probably some imps or something. They still have imps in Pathfinder? We'll add some imps. Anyways, the front door is slightly stuck but not locked. A sturdy shove as an interact action opens it without need for athletics checks. Game room, moderate, 11. This shop consists of a single wide room. A few shelves hold dice games and card decks, while private gaming rooms to the west sit behind open curtains. Chalk lines cover the floor of the room, some of them smeared beneath the body and blood of a dead Varisian woman. Before the characters can look around the room, the devils take action. These devils assume correctly that the PC's arrival is some way linked to the chalk drawings on the floor, so they're ready to fight. The Furagon? What the fuck's a Furagon? The Furagon engages... Well, hold on. What is a Furagon? Faragon? Faragon? Alright. Ram-headed devils with wings and flesh of rusted metal. Faragons, Farah for rust, prefer temptation to fighting. They're forged from the souls of damned mortals who made others suffer through their creative work. They like to collect those of the same ilk, often by dipping the bodies of mortals they've driven to despair into molten metal to make them horribly malformed statues they add to their layers. Okay. Oh, okay. Vainglorious Whispers. Oh, make somebody high on success. That's kind of neat. I like how they got little bug hands there. That's kind of cool. Pretty cool looking guy. Alright. And what else did I do? We got some spells. Wall of Stone. Okay. Wall of Stone ain't bad. Faragon Tetanus. Nice. Good to coming back around. You got that Alkenstar Tetanus in the first adventure, and then you got Devil Tetanus in the second run. Faragon's Flesh to Stone and Wall of Stone innate spells result in rusted iron objects instead of stone. Ooh, that's fun. Alright, I like that. I'm down for that. I'm living for this. This is good stuff. I don't think disease is going to be a problem because they're going to have 1 or 2 alchemists with them, and apparently alchemists can just trivialize disease. So I don't know what to do about that. All right, and then we got Ossiluth. I'm assuming that's the Bone Devil with a fancy name. Hajik's corpse. The body is that of all-seeing Hajik, slain by 2 devils. Her possessions were roughly searched, and dumped in the blood pooling around her body. Her upper arms bear a very recent tattoo that looks like an architect being struck by lightning, an image often associated with the Vision, a side effect of the card that came into Hajik's possession recently. Characters of a level appropriate to this adventure might have ways of questioning Hajik despite her death. Talking Corpse allows the PCs to interrogate her remains, while Call a Spirit ritual could contact her actual spirit. In such a case, Hajik can provide some of the information in the first few paragraphs of this chapter and describe the sudden and surprising attack of the devils here in her shop, but nothing pointing the PCs towards Dyrel, as she has little more to reveal to them. Chalk map. The chalk lines on the floor form a rough map of Absalom that Hajik was working on just before she was killed. She was tracing the locations of the other Deck of Destiny cards in the city. The PC's path through the city is immediately evident, tracing the route they took 2-3 moves ahead. More subtle markings indicate the meandering path through the Grand Bazaar that Dyrel Mirnes took with the Harrow Barrow. Identifying those markings requires a DC 25 perception check, super easy at 11th level, a DC 20 society check, even easier. For each round of combat in this room, the DCs increase by 2 as the chalk marks are scuffed by footwork or collateral damage and cast mending from attacks or spells. With a successful check, the feces identify the location of Historia Reliquary, Kraken's Ink Tattoo, and Reclaimed Paradise, all of which have indicated with marks, but without context as to what the marks mean. If the PCs can speak with Hajek's spirit or corpse, they may learn that Hajek suspected more information about the strange guard might be found at these locations, but she hadn't yet had the opportunity to investigate further. If the characters discover the 3 locations, give them 30 experience points. Yikes. Hajek becomes like a key NPC in book 2, so give her a bit of emphasis. Okay, good to know. Alright, well, we are at 6:30, and it's been 1 hour of prep, and my dinner has been delivered, so I am going to stop here. So, we will go back to the top, and where did we leave off? We left off in book 1, page 11, A2. All right, so again, this isn't a set series. I don't have like a particular time and day of the week that I'm going to be working on Stolen Fate. It's just going to be whenever I feel like it and have time. I'm going to peck away at it. My goal is to get all of this done before Outlaws is over so that I can run this on Monday nights for some of my Outlaw graduates, I guess. Anyways, speaking of Outlaws, we got Outlaws tonight at 8. I might be on before then to do some prep for that game. And if you are interested in watching that, that's going on tonight. Otherwise, the VOD will be up later this week. Anyways, hope everybody has a good week. Stay safe, stay healthy, all that jazz, and I'll see you next time.